Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. This is your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. This is Black MINDZ News, and today's date, July 22nd, 2019. Well, I came across this story. I think everybody kind of seen the video. It's a little viral out there where you seen Erica, right? What's Erica's last name? Erica Thomas, right? Erica Thomas with a viral video that everybody pretty much seen. And from my perspective, not to make fun or mockery, but I think there's a lesson in what she did and then what she said after the fact, that we as BADOS, ADOS have to recognize and understand nor the time nor the place for these kind of positions. So again, this is Black MINDZ News. This channel is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, insinuate, inspire, right? We give honor to the Creator, because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this land that you call the United States, we, the children of BADOS, is Black American Descendant Slaves, or some say Black African Descendant Slave, ADOS, American Descendant Slave, we, the DNA, the historical lineage, they call in the foundational blacks of this land, we give honor to our ancestors. You know what my motto is? I'm never gonna tell you what I heard. I'm only gonna tell you what I know. Stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing, everybody? This is Mr. Blows Your Minds coming with another Black MINDZ News broadcast. Today's date is July 22nd, 2019. And again, first and foremost, I want to say what's good to my subscribers and new ones who should be happen to, come across. Again, and those who've been around, what's good, fam? Passerbys, again, this is the most hated show on the black corner internet. If you should happen to find to get through all the muck and mire, through the obstacles and all that it takes to take the wrong turn on the internet and find this show, welcome to this show. Go down the aisle in the library, see some things. Again, you may see some things you may not like. Hit that dislike button. I have my supervisor come out to you and we can spit a couple syllables to you. Maybe we can get you to return, because again, the truth don't need no partner, and sometimes it may rub you in the wrong way. But again, this channel is here to bring we have to put it this way. We have to put the perspective that is different from the general media. We have to tell it from the perspective of the common man, right? And so sometimes things are being said and things that they wouldn't say, but that don't mean it's not true. So again, welcome to the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Now, today we're going to do something because, again, I thought when I seen this, I was like, well, when I originally seen it, I had, kind of two-sided feelings about it. What was being said, and then later on, what was said after that. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm kind of confused here, right? Wait a minute, why would you do this and then come back this and saying that? But what? All right, so before I get in, let you see what I'm talking about first. And then after that, we'll talk about it after the fact. Hold on, let me set it up right quick. And, it's just what it is, right? It's just always going to be what it is. So let me go ahead and get it set up. And, I think I'm kind of running real slow this morning, right? Okay, here we go. It's running a little slow, so go ahead.
So you know what I decided? I decided to go live because I'm very upset because people are getting really out of control with this white privilege stuff. I'm at the grocery store and I'm in the 10 aisle, the aisle that says 10 items or less. Yes, I have 15 items, but I'm 9 months pregnant and I can't stand up for long. And this white man comes up to me and says, "You lazy son of a bitch." He says, "You lazy son of a bitch. You need to go back where you came from." And he says that. I said, "Sir, you don't even know me. I'm not lazy. I'm 9 months pregnant." He says, "You're ignorant. You're ignorant." And I'm not ignorant. And it hurt me so bad. I'm sorry, y'all, because everything in me wanted to just tell him who I am and how I know. But I couldn't get anything out. I could just tell him, "Please leave me alone, please." And my child is just sitting right there. He said, "Mama, why would he call you that? Why would he do that?" I can't even explain to her why he has so much hate in his heart.
All right, so you heard there from Erica Thomas again. Saturday again. Erica Thomas is born August 12, 1987. She's an American politician and a youth leader. She's a representative from the state of Georgia, District 39. She is also found in an organization, non-for-profit, called Speak Out Loud. She gives voices to foster children, and there's a reason for that. It's right, okay? She received some Peace Award from the Global Peace Foundation back in 2013. She's been recognized by Georgia Center for Nonprofits as a non-profit leader and given 30 under 30 awards for 2016, right? And again, she was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, grew up in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, right? And again, you see that, according to her history, at least that's been printed, that she's a person who, gives back, right? Got into government, right? So she has good intent, right? She got a lot of good intent, right? And so based on what you just heard there, right? Let's kind of look at this, right? Now, again, being a sister, she is ADOS, presumably, again, because there'll be something that I will disclose later that the reason why I think maybe she was the way she is. So she decided to go live, as she said, right? I'm going to go live because, again, situation happened to me, and I want to actually, make it public, right? And so, as you heard her say, she talked about people getting out of control with this white privilege stuff, right? So, again, the tension and heightness of the spirit that's been going on in this country. A lot of people attribute it to President Donald Trump. And to me, it's just like, well, this is always a sediment, the stuff they call sediment at the bottom of the glass, right? Or the bottom of the container, right? What happened is we just put an individual in there who shook it up, right? And all the sediment that was at the bottom is now surfaced to the top. And so what happened is it seems for a lot of people, they bought into the whole ideal that racism and the foundation of what this country has been built on is something that has been in the past, right? When a lot of people who don't really, again, as this show, as Black Minds News does, we give honor to our ancestors. Not just the words of it, it's also reflecting and looking at the history and always trying to build upon what done took place. And then for me, I tried to give back by bringing recollection of their existence and what took place. Now, for a lot of people, it's just it happened in the past. That now in the present. You'll hear a lot of people who will say stuff like this. I don't dwell in the past. I just look forward. Well, if you're only looking forward when you walk and don't look behind you, somebody liable to come behind you and bust you in your head, right? Right? So, they say peripheral vision, Rich, is to be able to see everything and even also have eyes behind the back of your head. So in the same sense here, again, knowing this land that we in and how the fact that, here's a person who was born in 1987. So we're going to say she's about 32 years old, or about to be 32 years old. She's 31, right? And so, I would say that she is a child of at least let's say Generation X, right? She's probably a child of a Generation X. So that means probably based on how her circumstance, which again I'll talk about later, is why, what you see being displayed. And so white privilege stuff is only very effective to a lot of people, again, depending on the household you come out of, if conversations about what done transpired over history, if this doesn't come out of the people that were rearing you or the people associated with you when you're coming up, then this is a horrible time. I'm not saying that this is something that you can ever get, used to, but it should be to a fact that you have a better understanding, because something she said later that I was like, you should be able to have that conversation, right? So they're saying this white privilege stuff. Yeah, it is what it is, right? It's the game that you are in, right? Sometimes you choose the game you want to play, but in this case, this is it's like poker. This is the hand that was dealt to you, and regardless of the cards you got, this is the game, this is the hand you got to play. Now, what happens is you try to make a better hand if you can, and sometimes the dealer going to give you a bad hand. So that means that some situations you're going to be in will be positive, and then there's going to be times when the situation is in the negative. And so, she goes on and says that this white man comes up to her, and he says to her, "You lazy son of a bitch." Yeah, I said son of a bitch. Right? And he said it again. "You lazy son of a bitch. You need to go back where you came from." Now, again, this is your words. This is what you recollect of the situation. Those who are seeing it for the first time, as you just did, if that was your first time, you took her words at face value. For being black in America, or black in the sense of just the entirety of a family, if we may say Africans, right? That kind of resonates with you because, again, of the history that we all are associated with, right? By default, right? And so when we see a situation, we see a sister like that, some people's hearts went out to her. A lot of people might have got angry. Some people assessed the situation, right? And so, based on what's been happening in the news lately, and then talking about the squad, right? Remember, you've been talking about the squad based on Donald Trump and the chant that had been said about send her back, right? So now that this became a mantra for the nation, right? They always got copycats in this nation, right? A lot of copycats. And so what ended up happening is, this is what her ordeal now is making it say, well, somebody took on that spirit and then accosted her in a situation that she didn't think that it was necessary, right? And so, when people say, go back where you come from, especially when you're black folks, it's always trying to demean you as if like you are a stepchild we don't want. And in this case, it's going to be very personal to her because, see, a lot of people probably didn't understand why she was so emotional, right? The reason why she's so emotional is because, as that term I just used, is going to apply to her unbeknownst, unless you went and looked, right? But we won't talk about it till I get there, right? And so he had already called her out her name, right? That's a trigger word, you know. But the problem is, it's somebody outside of yourself. Now, a black person saying that to a black woman, a black man saying to a black man, you know what I'm saying, that's going to get confrontational real quick, right? But because of the dynamic of this person that you identify as a white person, right, you now say, I have to kind of, you know, deal with this with soft gloves, right? And so, not also did he say it once, he says it twice to you. And your response to him was, you don't even know me. And I'm not lazy. I'm 9 months pregnant. Now again, why do black folks offended when somebody say you lazy? You know why? Because there's that general stigmatization that has been, you know, infused in the minds of black folks who don't understand what the game is, that it seems like you do everything in your power not to be critiqued by people to say lazy. See, when people say, when you use welfare, oh, these lazy, shiftless niggas, right? Everything that has to do with lazy seems to be with you. But let's just look at lazy really and say, how could anybody say that we as black folks, the BADOS, the ADOS of this land, can be lazy? You know, they used to say shiftless, snootfoot, lazy. Those always have been applied in negative connotations towards we black Americans. And so this is hurting her more than the fact that he called her some of a bitch, right? Twice, right? And so she's saying, well, the only reason why it may appear that what you're saying to me, that I'm lazy, no. I'm pregnant, right? I'm pregnant. This, this is what it is, because again, the whole ordeal is that she's in the grocery store, had the aisle, 10 or less. Sometimes it used to be 15 less, right? Sometimes it's 10, 15, sometimes 10, all right? So anyway, she got 15. So again, in one sense, she's wrong, right? Right? But again, in her condition, you would be sympathetic. Now it would be up to the cashier, if way I'm looking at it. If the cashier would have had said it, then that would have been different. But again, this is an individual who was itching for a scratch, right? Again, this is the age, this is the day we in, where it seems like people, again, are trying to deputize, trying to show their allegiance to making America great again. And if you've been watching this show, only way America can be great again is taking it back to a time where white people felt like, you were in your place. We had you in control. You didn't talk back. You didn't look me in the eye, right? And it was prosperous, and it was all about the way we see it, with no interruptions. Now that this new demographic and shift is happening, and that the dwindling numbers of white folks, the instability that they're feeling is making them what, again, is the fangs of Dracula starting to appear. So, again, she tries to, saying, well, I'm pregnant, right? So what does he go and says? He says, you're ignorant. You're ignorant. Now, again, these are other words that have always been applied to black folks, right? Lazy, right? Ignorant, right? And once upon a time when you was a shorty, if somebody said ignorant, it was always like fighting words, right? Don't call me ignorant. I ain't ignorant, right? And so what happens is, let me tell you some of the words of ignorant, right? You got illiterate, unlettered, uneducated, it's uninstructed, it's untaught, it's unschooled, it's untutored, it's unlearned, green, right? Wide-eyed, innocent, inexperienced, unaware, unacquainted, unconversant, unapprised, uninformed, uninitiated, right? Unenlightened, unread, unconscious, blind, unwitting, unknowing, benighted, right? In the dark, know nothing, right? Uncultivated, rude, crude, superficial, shallow, right? Unscholarly, empty-headed, right? So, I mean, again, when people use words on you, that's why you have to have somebody interpret to you in law when they're using certain terms, because, again, what word, they give you the word, the general, and again, let's just say you have a general understanding of a word. But that word, as I just showed you, has so many different other words associated. So, again, if I'm being deceitful and sly and slick, I use a generality that you might think, but again, I may have a whole different type of meaning to it. So in this case here, he meant ignorant in the way that, again, and she understood what he meant. We all understood what he meant, if this is what has been said, right? And so she said that it hurt so bad, right? Everything in her wanted to tell him who I am and how I know. Wait a minute, see? Think about that. Hurt so bad, right? These is punches to, people of color. Especially people who have not, what they say, gird themselves up. Again, the word has said, gird yourself up, put on the shield, the armor of protection. Well, what is that protection? If you understand what you are in, if you know the history, if you not allow yourself to not understand and learn and understand and try and quit trying to make things to be what you want it to be, instead of being a realist for what it is, you gird yourself up. What does it say on your screen? Huh? Remembrance is freedom. Remembrance is freedom, right? And when you don't remember, then they say, if you don't, history, if you don't know it, then you're bound to repeat. It don't go away. The only way it makes it go away is your knowledge of that it exists. So when somebody come with it, you know what it is. So you disarm them, right? So here she is. She's heard over what he's saying. He called some of a bitch, right? Called her lazy. He said that you're ignorant, right? And to the point that here she is as an individual who has an organization. And remember what it's called, Speak Out Loud, right? That's the name of her organization, to speak out loud. And here she was in, a position where this would have been perfect for that. Now, again, am I saying, to be vile, to get in a fisticuff? No, but here was a situation you was supposed to be able to handle yourself. Again, he said you were ignorant. Again, according to with your background, you are a lettered person of education and so forth. But see, that's the thing. People think because I am, kundala, scholared up, saying I speak with the king's vernacular, right? Or the queen's vernacular, however you want to say, right? And I am accepted, I am civil, I am part of these organizations. That doesn't protect you against what these people are showing their fangs to. See, everything you have done is trying to keep yourself from being immersed and trying to make yourself separate and better than, and to be that's them and not me. And this is why when at this point, when it's being said according to what you're saying, now again, I have to make this allegedly what you're saying or what had happened. That's what allegedly what had happened is that you feel that the things you have done has somehow put you in a class that is separate from that which is, right? So here it was, again, it kind of sound like other folks. I want to let him tell him who I am. What do you mean who I am? You right then and there. I don't need to tell you my name to give you, again, what I might be known publicly. You're going to respect me because why? You dealing with me right here and now. It's not about my credentials and what somebody know of me. This is the situation I am in. And because I'm in this situation, I'm going to let you know that, again, this ain't the one you want. I'm not that one, but again, this individual scene, according to what had happened, he found the right victim, right? And he got everything off because, again, look at the video and how you coming out, right? And the things that you're saying. And so she's saying she needed to, I need to show you my credentials. Remember the story that I did the other day when it talked about the incidents with JFK and then how the diplomats were coming here to the United States, going on Route 40, trying to eat in restaurants, and white waitress was like, I'm not serving that nigga. Huh? And he's like, wait a minute, I'm a diplomat trying to show this credentials. I don't give a fuck what you got. I'm not serving you, nigga. See? Because, people like that believe that because they have the credentials, they have the education, somehow takes you out of that. You believe in class. You believe in all that. You don't believe in, again, the kickstand is, or color is just a construct. Yeah, until your ass is in the situation, then it's real. See? And that's what happened here. Now it's real. Your credentials, all your education meant nothing in this situation. It was about the uniform that you wear versus the uniform of the other team, right? And so, again, she got to the point that he stunted you. You understand? You know how you could get in, again, where I grew up, we used to sit on the corner and talk shit with each other for fun, right? Again, you come up out of the hood, you ain't got no whole lot of money, so we ain't about robbing nobody and stealing no shit. So there's a bunch of your friends around and then we just gonna shoot the shit, talk a little shit about each other, and what does that do? That builds you with tough skin. You understand? You get tough skin because you used to somebody, you sparred a lot. You know how like boxers, again, let's say if a champion, most likely when you have a champion, the person who he end up sparring will eventually come later on and they'll end up being the one fighting them because, again, they've been used to fighting them. You understand? You sparred with them. So when you used to spar in that kind of forum, then you prepared so when the situation comes. But see, again, a lot of people, and I've heard people say it, and again, that's teach his own, that certain people were raised in a way that the parents did not inculcate. Look it up. People who inculcate the information down to the little ones to tell them how the game go and what the obstacles and all this stuff and what the game is about. If they say, I'm not going to teach you that, then what end up happening is when you grow up, you become handicapped. You understand? You become handicapped. And this is what you're seeing. A person who is handicapped. Yes, they have all the other credentials, the things that make you a person in the society to function and be, what they would say successful. But it did not gird you, did not have you prepared for when you ran across a situation like this. And so that's why you did what you did, right? So she got to the point that she just wanted to say, please, can you leave me alone? Right? Right? He won. Right? He won. Right? Because she couldn't take that. It hurt her in her heart, she said. See? Like some people, stories I've read where black women have been on the plane and a white woman didn't want to sit next to her and it just broke her down and made her feel like the worst of low. See? Because of all this want to be accepted by people. See? You got to accept and love self first and not worried about how other people looking at you. Then it wouldn't give a 2-cent shit about what they thought. See? But if you stood on your square about love who you is, and I don't live my life to please you. I live my life for me and those who, again, who are affiliated and associated that depend on me. What you think matters not to me, right? And so here it was. Her child was sitting right there, right, observing this. Now this is why you had to you was not going to get into it. And if you got into it, you had to set the example because this one here seen it. Right? But that also can be also something that will also trigger in the young one that might infuse them with a different way than how you handle it too. It cuts both ways, a double-edged sword. But based on the fact that you got in that situation, right, that your child was like, wait a minute, mama, why would he call you that? Why would he do that? See? The child doesn't know. The child, again, is ignorant, right? Unlettered and not knowing, right? The child doesn't know. I'm not sure how old the child was, but we're just going to say it had enough sense to know, hey, mama, why this man talking to you like that? And it's our daughter, right? So here it is, a second generation. Here's you, and this is one behind. The ordeal you going through, she's going through it too. She got to observe you, right? Now, again, I don't think that you displayed what you displayed in the video at the time. At least I would assume you didn't. And so you said, I can't really explain to her why he got so much hate in his heart. Now, we can't tell you why that is, but we can explain history, what has been done to people like ourselves, right? Why this took place and why these people have, and they feel and treat us in the way that they do. That is your job as a parent, to make sure that they know this stuff. It's not you being racist because you telling them against the terrain and the world that they're going to have to inherit when you no longer are here. Don't you supposed to prepare them so that when they go out there, that they understand what it is that they have to, traverse as from whatever age to when they become adults? So if you do not do this, then you're handicapped. So there's a lot of our people out here who are handicapped because you have a lot of people, again, the way that she observes and how she looks at life, feel like if I get myself with credentials and education and organizations, that this here is not a reality to me. But then when you come across it, now you like a baby brand new, just being born. And what you're doing, look how you're responding, right? So she had the opportunity, hopefully she did after the fact, right? But check this kick in the head, y'all. You got to see the twist to it, because I was like, oh, damn, really? So, did you know? Now, you see, she put the video out there, right? She put the video out there for everybody to see what kind of virus it said, right? That you seen it here on Black MINDZ TV or Black MINDZ News. Now, again, Georgia State Rep. Erica Thomas, right? Again, talking about she went into a public grocery store, was told to go back to where she come from, right? And so an interview a reporter ended up catching her on a Saturday, right? And asked her about how this white man who had accosted her and her daughter and telling him to go back to where she came from, and how was this a racially charged tirade, right? Now, check this out. What is the odds? What is the odds of a reporter having a conversation with Erica Thomas, and somehow the dude that she got in the confrontation with is right there? I'm going to say that again. Did you know that after that situation, then a Saturday came, a reporter seen Miss Thomas and was going to ask her about the situation and was interrupted by the accused man. You know, his name is Eric Sparks, right? That's his name. Eric Sparks is the name of the individual, right? And he interrupts her conversation with the reporter and says he's telling the story for what he said. Hey, that's just lying, right? Now, wait, is this a setup? Think about it. Is that a setup? Wait a minute. If you at the grocery store and the reporter do that, now you know this shit is something ain't right with this situation. But okay, if you talking about another time, how this motherfucker come out the closet like, you know what I'm saying? That just don't make sense to me, right? And so he goes on to tell, he says that he accused her of faking the story for political purposes, saying he was, in fact, a Cuban American Democrat, right? He said, I'm a Cuban. You know what I'm saying? I'm Ricky Ricardo in this motherfucker, right? And he said he was simply irritated that she brought so many groceries to the express checkout. That's what he's saying, right? Then she rebukes him, right? And she says, Now check this out. I want you to hear me clearly. And this is the only reason why I did this story. She goes on in the interview later in the day on Saturday. Now, when this happened, being confronted, he's there. Then later on in the day, they say, she says, I don't know if he said go back or those type of words. I don't know if he said go back to your country or go back where you came from. But he was making those type of references is what I remember. Huh? What? So the journalist asked her, so you don't remember exactly what he said? And she says, no, definitely not. But I know it was go back because I know I told him to go back. You understand? Come on, man. Look, wait a minute. This is like a Jesse Smollett situation. You understand? Look, I'm not making fun or light of the situation. I'm saying we can't be having false flag situations. If that's what happened, stand on your square, and that's what it is. To recant and now backtrack and now not to be so precise about what took place. But when you did the video and everything that you said what you said, but then now to be confronted. So we have to say, what was the purpose and the motive of why you did what you said? We can't be playing with racial situations. Because again, Black Minds News, we purport a lot of the things that happen as just to give awareness of the situations that's happened. So we can't be sitting out here playing games like that. And you're wrong for that if that's what took place. But the reason is because, again, like I said, the squad and you in politics, and it's already been the mantra, so you felt like maybe this might be good for you. Otherwise, you should have been able to check him right then and say what he said. But again, it's an article. We don't know. And again, I think she needs to come out to, refute if this is not what it is. And if it's not, it's going to stand as proof positive, right? And so again, we can't be having the Jesse Smollett's and situations where people faking and saying this is it, because what it does is it lessens it's the boy who cried wolf ass syndrome. With things that could be of seriousness that was said, but people will take it out, they just fake it. See, all they need is one. All they need is two. We don't give them none. If it ain't what it is, don't cry it. If it is what it is, stand on it. You understand? Because the minute you start giving them these, this false flag shit, they're going to try to run and take that to try to devalue everything that we stacking up. You know what I'm saying? All this preponderance, you're trying to give them something in court to give them something to actually try to refute. Even though they can never offset what the stacks of history have shown, but you're trying to give them something so that it diffuses a lot of the scenarios that's happening. So, again, I'm going to tell you what I think is the fact that that Miss Thomas was put into foster care, right? And she talks about her experiences and how, she was hurt and a lot of stuff that she went through. And you would expect that from somebody who gone through this American United States foster system and being a woman. So she's already been through some things. And again, she said already espoused a lot of that. And so this is why a person who don't have good foundation, because she didn't get reared, she got reared by the system, right? And so, if you're going to give the system your child, which a lot of us have done and do, every day they inculcating this kind of, softness to you and got you believing pie in the sky. But the reality of it, then when the reality hits you, you're not prepared for it and you softer than butter, right? And so that's what we see here. But again, this is crying wolf. Not to come back after the fact and now say that you didn't say it and you don't remember, you don't recollect. I think so. And then I even said to him, go back. So, come on. You understand? So, again, this is Erica Thomas, y'all. Take it for what it is. Again, this is Black Minds News. And, they want to do so much of talking, but again, that's just how that is, right? It has to be said because, again, we can't play with this. You know what I'm saying? We are in serious times. if what it is what it is, right? It has to be, and it has to be stood on, because again, there's certain things that will fight with you when that is on that. There's a spirit, right? There's ancestors. But when you false flagging situations, you can get other people hurt due to the simple fact that you're making shit up. We're not trying to be a makeup people. We're being a truthful people. And so we have to be honest and forthright in what we stand on and what we know. So we ain't gonna tell them what we heard. We ain't gonna tell them a fake story. We're gonna tell them what we know. Again, this is Mr. Blows Your Mind coming with another Black News production. Until the next show, y'all, stay black, love, and all that good stuff.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on! And it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on! Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the world.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, they was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin.
They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 months before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to kill you! You can't make me do anything like Chris!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, "Brother Greg, you coming by today?" And I said, "Malcolm, I love you." And I said, "I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there." He said, "What do you mean, Brother Greg?" I said, "Well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East." And I said, "But I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you."